Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with an educator and student, Rebecca Ralph, who's a fourth grade elementary teacher and a graduate student at LaGrange College. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Well,
it's a pleasure to sit down with you. This is my first time getting an opportunity to sit down with you, and I think you're kind of new to the area, the reason why I hadn't seen your face in the community in the past. So tell us a little bit about you, first of all, Rebecca.
I am a little bit new to the area. This is my 6th year living in LaGrange. My family moved down here after my husband and I graduated from college and really got involved in the area. I teach 4th grade at Rosemont Elementary and just have really loved becoming part of the LaGrange community.
Well, good. You know, I think we have one of the most beautiful cities and the most friendliest cities here in the state of Georgia. And I say that because I'm native to the LaGrange area too, and it is factual though. So you're a 4th grade teacher at Rosemont Elementary School. What are the subjects you teach there?
Mainly I teach English language arts, but I also teach math and reading to some of the students in 4th grade.
Okay.
But language arts is my focus.
Okay, well, very good. And I know my years ago, I was a student at Rosemont. That's been many moons ago.
Yeah, it's a great school, great community.
It is, absolutely. And now you're a graduate student working on your EDS at LaGrange College, and you're involved in some other things that are taking place there at LaGrange College. Talk a little bit about your experience there as a graduate student.
This is actually my 2nd degree I'm getting from LaGrange College. I got my master's degree from LaGrange, and now I'm working on my EDS and teacher leadership. Involvement with this school has been great learning experience there. Now I've been invited to be involved with the Learn to Serve camp at LaGrange College. Okay. And that's a camp for rising 5th through 8th graders, and it's something that involves the MAT program. Okay. People going back to get their teaching degree, but it's for students, 5th through 8th grade are involved with that.
Oh, okay, very good. And you're there working on your degree. You say your second. I guess your other degree is from LaGrange College, you stated as well?
Yes, my other degree. My undergraduate was from Wingate University in North Carolina, but my other 2 have been from LaGrange College.
Okay, and you are here today to talk about the program Learn to Serve, and you are also the camp director. And you were stating is open for 5th through 8th graders. Talk a little bit about Learn to Serve camp, if you don't mind.
Sure. The Learn to Serve camp is a 3-week camp this summer, and it's sponsored by the Education Department at LaGrange College. And the Learn to Serve camp is an academic camp. So in the morning, the students will participate in academic courses, math, science, social studies, and language arts, and they all revolve around the camp's theme for that year. Okay. The camp focuses on service learning, so the students will kind of be involved with looking at problems in our community, seeing how they might be able to help that problem, learning about the origins of the problem, and then they work with master teachers who are leading the camp, as well as the MAT graduate students who work as counselors, with developing ways they can go about solving those problems. So it's very, very interactive, very, very engaging learning environment. I think the kids really, really enjoy it. Lots of just opportunities for them to explore, learn from things that are meaningful.
Well, great. Now, and we're going to talk about the theme of this year's camp in a moment or two. But let me ask you, why did you get involved with this, Rebecca? Why is it so important for you to be involved?
One of the reasons that I started being a teacher is because I just love learning, and what better way to just keep that love of learning going by teaching others to love learning. And having the opportunity to learn on your own and explore things on your own is so important and so meaningful. And when I saw this camp and I was invited to work with it, I mean, it just kind of fit me right to the T. So I really wanted to get involved and just help other students learn all through the summer. I mean, just keep the learning going, not really take a break. So.
Absolutely. And let me ask you, said something that's important there right through the summer. As a teacher, how important is it for that student to make sure that they continue to keep something before them during that summer so they don't lose that? How important is that to you?
It's very, very important. You know, we see it every year, kind of the summer slump when students first come back. It's like, just trying to get those wheels turning again. But if they are engaged over the summer with a project, learning, reading a book even, doesn't have to be a huge camp. Just getting something in that brain, keeping it going, it will definitely help them in their studies throughout the year.
Absolutely. Now, and I understood from you when you came in, this is the 7th year that the Learn to Serve has been in our community?
It is, that's correct. This is the 7th year for the program.
Oh, okay, very good. Now let me, and we're going to talk a little bit about last year.
Sure.
I think you all had some successes last year. Talk a little bit about that for us, if you don't mind.
Okay, last year the theme for the camp was global engagement. So they were really working on just what is going on all around the world. What are some of the issues? What are some of the problems? So the students researched things and what was going on in Africa, what's going on down in Haiti, what's going on in Latin America, things like that. And through that, the students learned a whole lot, but they decided there were some needs. And so they came up with a way to raise some money, and what they did was, using their math skills that they learned, they created these huge murals on canvas where they blocked it off and they drew it, and they were absolutely beautiful. I mean, you should have seen these works of art. I wish I had one here today I could show you.
Absolutely, yeah.
But they designed them, and they were auctioned off in a silent auction at LaGrange College at the end of the camp. At the end of each camp, there's kind of like a day of celebration where the students share what they've learned and share what they've created and done for the community. But they were auctioned off, and they were able to raise over $300 through that silent auction, and then we're using those funds for some other things around to help with things in
very good.
The community.
Very good. Global engagement, and they studied various regions of our world, and then they came up with these beautiful mirrors. I do wish we had one to view today. And they raised $300 from the selling of these at silent auctions, you say?
That's right.
What are some of the things that they were able to do with those funds, Rebecca?
Well, one of the things that they were able to do was they were able to purchase 3 goats for families in South Sudan. They found out that there was a need, some hunger issues down there. And,
okay.
They were also able to collect some medical supplies and make a $120 donation to an orphanage in Haiti called All Things New, and that orphanage actually has some ties to LaGrange, people from LaGrange who go down there regularly and help run that orphanage. So that was something that kind of helped our community and as well. Yep. But we also do some local service throughout the camp. In the past, they have worked with the soup kitchen ministry at First United Methodist Church. So just showing kids how important it is to be involved in your community and learn and serve others as well is really important to this camp.
Well, and the theme says it all, learn to serve camp. And I think there's something to be said about that, because, you know, everybody says, oh, if I go and do this and that, I've served. But it's more than just going and do something one time. Right. You know, it's a repetitiveness there.
Right.
To kind of
and learning how to find a way to fix those problems on your own. So.
Absolutely. Now, we'll talk about this year's things. I think it's something that's important as we see some things rising. This is probably something that everybody might be interested in.
Right. When we started talking about this year's camp, transportation is the theme that came to mind. I think we've all noticed the rising gas prices. Right. So that's one aspect of transportation. And then with the snowstorm this year, we saw major issues of transportation that came along with that. But then when we think globally about transportation, the issues we have here in LaGrange and in Atlanta are so different than the issues that they may have in India or in, I don't know, Haiti, where this orphanage is that we worked with last year. So we're kind of going to be looking at those things and coming up with things that students need to learn to help them understand the problem so that they can find a way to maybe try to help and fix that a little bit.
You know, as we were talking before you came on, saying, that's quite interesting that you all are talking about transportation, because one of the things that we talked about at the recent retreat with the Mayor and Council was transportation as well. So I think that is something that's on everybody's radar screen as we continue to move forward. And we're talking about that. We can see how transportation has evolved over the course of time. You want to talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind, some of the things that kids might be involved with?
Sure. The transportation obviously has evolved a lot in the past century, but we talked about looking at how people got around 100 years ago versus now, and then in the future, what's that going to look like 100 years from now? How are things going to be different? How is it going to be changing? We see all the time pollution and how transportation affects that, and maybe what are some things that are being researched and designed now that may help alleviate that problem in the future. LaGrange actually has a pretty rich transportation history with the railroads coming right through the town, so we're hoping to share some of that information with our students as well.
Well, very good. Talk about the camp now. I know it will be from June the 9th through June 27th. Talk about where and when and things like that, if you don't mind.
Okay, the camp is held on the LaGrange College campus at the Callaway Education Building. The camp is from June 9th to June 27th. It's from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night in the afternoon. And the students will be involved in the morning in some academic activities at the Callaway Education Building, and then in the afternoon there'll be activities where they can go swimming at the LaGrange College pool and learn all kind of different sporting activities and things using all the areas around there, the college, the different fields and things. We'll be teaching them all kind of different fun things in the afternoon.
I was going to say a little work, a little fun as well, right?
Right, okay. Very important.
So we have some students that are out there that are listening and that want to be involved with this. How can they get involved, Rebecca?
Well, if you would like more information about the camp, you're welcome to contact me.
Okay.
You can email learn2serve@lagrange.edu. You can also go to the LaGrange website, www.lagrange.edu/L2S, and the registration forms are there. You can also contact me. My number is 706-831-3979. So that would be another way. If you just have questions, want to call and parents want to call and ask, learn more about the camp, I'd be more than happy to share some information with you.
Okay, so. All right. And I think that, is there a deadline for them to be registered by?
There's not a firm deadline, but if you register by May 20th, the cost for the whole camp is only $295. Okay. After that, the cost does increase a little bit. So if you could register by May 20th, that would definitely help your pockets a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, great. We know that the kids will definitely give you guys a call, and we're looking forward to what comes out of the theme transportation this year and how we might be able to implement or steal from some of the thoughts and ideas that you all have. So, Rebecca, thank you very much for coming on the show today and sharing this information. Learn to Serve Camp. And once more again, give them your contact number just in case somebody missed it there, okay?
Sure. If you need to contact me, my number is 706-831-3979.
Okay, well, very good. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. So many times here on City Week, we talk about things that are involved in our community, such as government, health, and education. But today I have a guest on that want to talk about something that is very, very special and very near and dear to a young lady's heart. And we want the community to get involved. Today I have a guest on, Lindsay Summerlin, who's an elementary teacher over at Franklin Forest. Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, and I think this is our first time sitting together.
Yes.
And we're here today for a very worthwhile call. But before we get started talking about this young lady in our community, tell us a little bit about Lindsay, if you don't mind.
I am a special ed teacher at Franklin Forest here in town, and I enjoy working with children. They're my passion, and I do anything I can to help them, and so that's a little bit about me.
Okay, very good. And I know that you have a family of your own, have a young girl as well.
I have a soon-to-be 4-year-old who will be entering pre-K. So, and then I'm married to my husband, who's also a teacher.
Oh, okay, very good. So education is important in your household, then?
Oh, yes, sir.
And your daughter has a very special friend, I think.
She does.
Okay,
she absolutely does. She has a very special friend. Her name's Oakley Humphreys, and Oakley was diagnosed in January with childhood cancer, a type of leukemia, and we pray every night for our little Oakley, and it's near and dear to our heart for sure.
Absolutely, for your little Oakley. And we're here today. We're going to talk about something that the entire community can get involved with. And you say, this is a 4-year-old young lady in our community that's battling cancer. And as I was talking before we came on, I was telling you this was going to be a very difficult show for me to do today, because I too recently just lost my best friend to cancer, and it took him out within a month of being notified of it. So, this is something we definitely want the entire community to get involved with, and do what you can, because we have here a precious little life that we can touch and impact. And talk a little bit about, there's a 5K run, if you don't mind. Talk about that for us.
Yes, we are doing it's called Strong as an Oak 5K, and that name kind of came about because of Oakley's name, and her uncle Jared actually just in the hospital when she was first diagnosed, he said she's strong as an oak, and it's kind of just stuck, and we kind of took it and ran with it. So it's a 5K run to benefit Oakley's family and help with any medical bills that we can, and really bring awareness to childhood cancer, because we've lost so many in our community community recently to childhood cancer, and we just want Whitney and Jacob and Oakley to see that we're fighting with them and that they're not alone, and we're going to make it to the end, and our girls are going to graduate high school together, and it's all going to be great. So we just want to take a little bit of the burden off of them.
Absolutely. You know, that's such a wonderful testimony that the girls will grow up together and graduate high school.
And they're going to do that for sure.
Absolutely. And you know, and this, again, this is something that the entire community can get together and do. Strong as an Oak 5K run to benefit little Oakley Humphreys, 4 years of age. Now, let me ask you now, because I think in some way or another, there have been so many families. You know, I just lost my best friend.
Yes.
My grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer some years ago, and thankfully she's still with us here at age 97.
Wow.
So it's truly a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Now, let me ask you, in your family, I think you too may have had family members that you lost to cancer.
Yes, both of my grandfathers passed away of lung cancer, and when I was 14 and 18. So I was old enough to know how it affected a family, and to see my parents lose their dad, and always emotional, and it affects, you don't realize how many people battle with cancer and everything behind the scenes. Once you do lose someone with it, the bills are still there, and it's still, you know, a battle that a whole family takes on.
Absolutely.
And it affects everyone.
It does. I mean, it has such far-reaching impacts.
Yes.
You know, I'm just sitting here thinking about my friend that I met in 1983, and then how many of us friends of us came together for his service.
Yes.
And it's just, you know, we just never know the far-reaching arms of what cancer does in our society. It is something that I hope that truly we can find a cure for someday.
Absolutely.
And especially in our young people like
It's heartbreaking,
little
when
Oakley. Absolutely. Let me ask you, the 5K run, talk a little bit about where it's going to be held, if you don't mind.
It's going to be at the Granger tennis courts over by LaGrange High School. It's Saturday, May 17th, so put it on your calendar. Everybody needs to be there. And start time is at 8 o'clock, but you can come register at 7. You can register online at active.com, and you can search Strong as an Oak 5K, and it will pull up, or you can register that day. Some people aren't great with computers, and so we will have registration that day, or you can contact us on Facebook and we can get you registration forms early if you'd rather do that. But there's a Sprout Sprint for kids, and it's free for all kids, so no excuses. You have to bring the kids out to run for Oakley. And it will start as soon as the last runner finishes the 5K. We'll start the Sprout Sprint, and we're going to have Callaway High cheerleaders and Gardner Newman Middle School cheerleaders there to run with the kids. So it should be a really fun atmosphere. So
very good,
exciting.
Very good. And again, it's for a very worthwhile cause, and it's going to be over at Granger Tennis Court on May the 17th.
Yes.
So definitely mark your calendars, as you stated. Cost for people to enter the race. Talk about that.
It's $30 to enter, and all money made goes straight to Oakley's medical account. So we'll have, you know, so it goes directly there. It's not going anywhere else. And if you register that day, it's $35, but all registration fees include a T-shirt.
Okay, well, very good. And just so people know, this is a 501c3 organization, so just bring that out if you don't mind.
Oh yes, we started Strong as an Oak to a nonprofit organization to help raise the money and have a place for people to send money. So if your company wants to donate, we have W-9 forms. We'll be glad to get out to you. We already have a huge list of sponsors, and thank you to all of them.
Okay.
I think you were going to.
Yeah, we're going to talk about sponsors.
Yes.
I want to back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the 5K, and it's going to benefit Oakley Humphreys. Can you talk a little bit about Oakley and how you see her once you come from her treatments? And can you just kind of give the audience a little bit about Oakley, if you don't mind?
Definitely. She, like we said, she's 4 years old. She is bubbly, precious, beautiful hair, beautiful dimples, the most precious, loving child. She is, she can tell you Bible verses. She is, strong in her faith, which is a testament to her parents, but she will light up any room that she comes in. Her treatments are at times painful for her, but she's such a trooper. We went. Her birthday was last Monday. She turned 4, and we went for her birthday party, and she was excited to see the kids, acting like any other 4-year-old. And it just to know that she goes weekly for chemo is heartbreaking, because it does take an effect on her. It makes her tired, and she's had to have several blood transfusions, but she's still, you see her, she wants to hug you, she will light up your life. So
Absolutely.
She's precious.
I'm sure. I mean, just saying, talking about her, I can just see the smile on her face. And, I think one of the things that kids are so resilient.
They are.
They can bounce back and to know that the community is behind, her, helping her to fight this fight that she's going to overcome.
Yes, she is.
I'm sure if she could say something to the viewing audience, what do you think she might say, Lindsay?
Probably just thank you, I love you much. She says love you much.
Very good. And that's what's going on. I think that, in my opinion, is the thing that's going to pull her through. To be able to know that people are behind her, supporting her, showing the love, not just by saying it, by making donations to the Strong as an Oak Foundation.
Absolutely.
To help her and her family with those medical bills. Now, you wanted to mention some sponsors there, if you don't mind.
Blondie Roo, thank you. Go eat there. Secure Select, Emory of LaGrange, and Southern Abstract Services and Marvin Jones & Son are 5 of our huge sponsors who we greatly appreciate. Our list goes on, and they will all be on the back of the t-shirt. So if anyone's interested in becoming a sponsor, they can have their name on the back of the t-shirt, and we'll have signs and posters, and any of it is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Now, if there was someone that was watching, Lindsay, and they're not a sponsor today, but they say, hey, I believe in this cause, I want to be able to do something to help the family, how can they get in touch with you, or how can they become more involved?
Okay, we have a Facebook page. If you go to Facebook and search Strong as an Oak 5K, then it'll pull up and you can send a private message. And we have Brittany Keith, who is a committee member and chairman, and she runs the Facebook page, and she will get back with you as soon as possible on paperwork and how you can become involved.
Okay, well, very good. Once again, for a very worthwhile call, if you don't mind, just tell them that date again of the race and the entry fees, if you don't mind.
Okay, it's Saturday, May 17th at Granger Park Tennis Courts. Start time of 8 o'clock. Register at 7. Be there early. T-shirts included. It's $30 and $35 the day of the race.
Okay, very good.
And Sprout Sprint's free for kids, so all the kids have to come.
There you go. Absolutely. And we're hoping, and we know there'll be great weather that day.
Yes, we're hoping for it.
And so even if it's raining a little bit, you still want to come out.
We're still coming. Bring your rain jackets, umbrellas, tents, whatever. We're still doing it.
Very good. Very good. Well, Lindsay, I want to thank you very much for coming on today and sharing
Thank you so much for having me.
I think this is just for a wonderful cause, and I hope that Oakley is listening and their families listening to the show, and know that this community will stand behind her and help her to fight this fight, because I think that's one of the greatest things about our little community.
Absolutely.
When there's a cause in this community, we as people come together and galvanize, regardless of our differences of backgrounds.
That's right.
Skin colors, we galvanize and we come together to make sure that cause and that need is met.
You're absolutely right. And I appreciate you having me and allowing me to share this, with the community.
Well, when it's one of our precious babies, we got to do everything we can.
Yes, sir, we do.
Lindsay, thank you so very much.
No, thank you so much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Lindsay today. By all means, mark on your calendars. We can't overemphasize it enough. May the 17th over at the Granger Tennis Court. Registration starts at 7 and the race will start at 8. Come on out, bring the kids. It's for a very worthwhile cause. And as always, I want to invite you back for more City Week, and stay tuned in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been from LaGrange College, Rebecca Rao, the camp director for Learn to Serve, that will be taking place starting June the 9th through June the 27th. So by all means, any 5th or 8th graders or 5th through 8th graders, if you're interested in being involved with this, give her a call at the information contact that she gave out earlier. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I had on from the community Lindsay Summerlin that talked about an upcoming 5K Strong as an Oak run that will benefit little 4-year-old Oakley Humphreys who's battling cancer. So ladies and gentlemen, by all means, if you haven't contributed to this cause yet, by all means, come out and help with this very worthwhile cause to help meet the financial needs of her and her family. I'm sure they will greatly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.